My name is Tamra, and I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. I came from a big family. I was the second of 8 children, and some of my interests are wilderness, survival, and primitive skills, which is kind of weird, but awesome. I came to find that through working in wilderness therapy, which was the least likely thing anyone ever thought I would do, because I am still very much a girly girl and into girly things, and I was not at all connected to the outdoors before that time in my life, but it's completely changed my life. 2 things have been super defining in my adult life. Adoption is one, and wilderness therapy has been the other one. I was very resistant to the idea of adoption initially, because I thought people who would make terrible parents place children for adoption. You know, I thought I'm a good person and I would be a good mom, you know, because I love my child, you know, and when you're young, you're like, all you need is love, you know? And so I thought, I don't have any drug problems. I'm going to be a legal adult when I have him. You know, my family has plenty of money. I've worked since I was 16. My boyfriend even wanted to marry me. And so I thought, obviously, I wouldn't even consider adoption, you know? I came to see it in a different way, though. I come to realize that it's not a matter of bad people placing a baby with good people. It's a matter of good, better, best. Good enough, ultimately, at the end of the day, wasn't good enough. I tried to settle for good enough. But for him, as long as I knew there was more and better, it nagged at me. It just nagged at me until I finally decided, okay, I've got to give you everything. I got to give you everything that's available to you. Another resistance was just the idea that was just too hard and I just couldn't do it. Right or wrong, it would kill me. But I've come to see that when things are right, it's made possible somehow, you know, and love is a powerful energy and can make you do things that are impossible. And it was a long journey, you know, coming to the point of adoption. Some people, as soon as they're pregnant, they know, okay, well, the obvious answer is to give my child the best life. It wasn't that for me at all. I had a lot of getting over myself to do. And because of course I included myself in the equation, you know, and also like being a little bit self-absorbed is part of adolescence. You're growing out of childhood, you know, and so how was I not going to think about how I'd be affected and the consequences for me? But as long as I was doing that, I couldn't come to a peaceful conclusion. I couldn't come to an answer that I felt satisfied with consistently. It wasn't until I finally decided that, it wasn't until I finally eliminated every other factor from the equation besides his best interest that I chose adoption. And I had, you know, friends in high school who were like, we're going to be so supportive, you know, we'll help you, we'll be there. And they mean it, but it's completely unrealistic, you know? And I had, there was a girl in high school who was like, are you actually going to have it? You know, and my boyfriend was like, well, this is perfect. We're in love. Let's get married. We'll be happily ever after. And my mom was like, you better place this child for adoption. And so there was a lot of noise, a lot of people with a lot of opinions. There was a lot of pressure. And I left town, which was totally a defining factor in the whole thing. Because if I hadn't gotten away from all these people who had a vested interest and who had an opinion, who had something to say about what I should do, it would have been really difficult for me to hear myself think and for me to come to the conclusion. And that doesn't mean that I didn't listen to people, but ultimately I was the one to bear the bulk of the burden thereafter of my decision. But it was still a lot of soul searching. And I certainly petitioned the powers of heaven, which I wasn't accustomed to doing previous to this time. Because ultimately what I wanted was total peace of mind and confidence, no regret ever. And in order for me to have that, I need to see the future. What's down this path? What's down this path? What's down this path? And I can't see the future. I don't know that. And so I figured God does. And so I asked him to tell me, you know, from what he could see, I asked him to direct me to the path that would bring me the least regret and the most peace of mind. And, but then I went on to beg and bargain, you know, like we do to our parents, you know, like, I'll never do anything bad again, and I'll be the best parent ever. I'll make all these sacrifices, you know, I'll compensate in every way. And I'll never ask you for anything else again. Just give me this, please, just let me have this one thing, And I was kind of like, maybe you haven't considered this, God, and just pleading my case, and that really kind of got in the way of me like receiving an answer, which is what I was looking for. But finally one day I was just frustrated because every time I settled on something, anxiety would come. I couldn't feel okay about anything. And so I was just like, would you please just tell me what to do? And I just had this realization that it was still about me and that it couldn't be, not even a little bit. It's thy will be done, come what may, whatever that means. Tamra, do you really want what's best for this child? How much do you want what's best for this child? Enough to hurt? And it took me a long time to get to that humble place where it meant enough to me even to hurt, even to swallow my pride and to recognize you're not the best thing for this child. That hurts, But I wanted what was best for him more than I cared about any of that, finally. And when I did just eliminate all the other noise and all the other factors, it was just crystal clear. It was obvious that at my best, I couldn't compensate for the difference between me at 17 or 18 years old and two people with preparation, maturity, and experience, Even at my best, I wasn't there. But it's been a lot to process. He's had a lot of difficult things in his life, and he's very much in a point at 17 years old where he's reacting to those things, and he's feeling those things, and there's some adverse effects to those things in his life right now. And that's hard to watch. When people ask me, oh, how's it going? How's reunification going? You have an open adoption now. How is that? Like, there's two different answers that struggle to get out of my mouth first, and one is, it's hell. Like, this is the hardest thing I've done since placement. It kills me. It kills me to watch him hurt, and I don't know my role in this. I've had to completely redefine my role in this based on their circumstances because it's so different than what I expected. And I just want to help. I just want to help, and it's hard for me to know what that looks like. And then the other answer is it's a miracle. It's such a blessing. I am so glad we have such a good relationship, and both are true. We are homies, and I mainly leave the ball in his court, and, because I don't ever want him to feel like it's about me or that he owes me anything or that I need anything from him. And he makes contact with me on a fairly regular basis, and I really just feel like, I used to think that open adoption was the icing on the cake. I always knew it was a good thing, but I used to think, it's just bonus. But after working with kids, adolescents in intervention in the wilderness, many of whom are adopted from closed adoptions, and after finding Justin in the condition that he's in and seeing the research, I don't feel that way anymore. I think that open adoption, when it's possible, is crucial for a kid. I feel like it's really important. And I know that it's doing something for Justin right now to have me in his life. I know that it means something to him to have me there, that he can check and see if I'm still there. Am I still invested? Do I still care? How much do I love him? And as he was starting to tell me about some of these difficult things in his life, he then, started to express guilt. Like, why would I tell you this? I'm burdening you. Like, I don't want you to feel bad about your choice and all of these things. And I told him, it has hurt to love you since the day you got here, and it has been the best thing I've ever done. And no matter what you do, and no matter what happens, it will always be worth it to love you. It will always be a blessing to love you. To hurt for you is the greatest honor that I've ever had. And I don't mind still doing it. And I'll never stop loving you. So don't tell me what to do. I was like, it's my call, And so, but we do have a good relationship. He's a 17-year-old boy, not super communicative, he will start a conversation, and then I'll write a few paragraphs, and I'll go like, and how are you doing, or whatever, and he'll just be like, cool, with a K, K-O-O-L, So, but I feel like we have a rapport. I feel like we have a trust, I feel like I'm a confidant, but everything that I've done, I've gone through his parents first, and I've asked, give me guidance, give me boundaries, let me know what I can do to support you guys. And anytime he has started to, as all teenage kids do, kind of be like, I'm a dad, I just remind him, your dad's an awesome man who loves you a lot. He's a good father. And Justin knows that's true. I had expected a different reception. I definitely had. And I feel like maybe there's some insecurities on their side as well because things haven't turned out how they wanted either. But I hope that they know that it is not mine to judge. because he is theirs, for better or for worse. And I hope they know that I am not coming from a position where I want to judge, you know. They don't answer to me. He's theirs, you know. And I support them, whatever that looks like, whatever that means, you know. I've been surprised at how maternal it has been, how much of that still is there, and what to do with that. And that has a lot to do with the condition of his mother, because his mother's had a lot of health problems and she hasn't been able to be there for him the way that she would have wanted to. And so it's really, to me, it's tragic and it's disappointing and it's heartbreaking what she's been through and what he's missed out on because of not having her there like she was or would have been. But there's a beauty in it, because I think of it this way. She couldn't carry him and give him a body and deliver him, so I did that for her. I couldn't give him preparation, maturity, experience, and a father, and all of that, you know. And so she gave that to him, and now she can't counsel or encourage him, tell him that he's the handsomest, smartest guy, and that he can have whatever he wants, and that he's got a mission and a purpose in life, you know, and just be his confidant and hear him. You know, she's not in a position right now where she really gets to do that to the full capacity that she once could, and I do that for her, and that's an honor. And it doesn't mean that I'm his mom. She's his mom forever and for always, but I'm his birth mom, and I will do anything that I can do to support her and to help her achieve the goals that she has. And when I pray for him, I pray for both of us. And I tell the Lord, hear my prayers on her behalf as well. And please bless this boy for both of us, you know. So it's hard. It's hard. I've cried so much this last year of my life, and I thought this was going to be the easy part. I thought this was going to be like, it has always been bittersweet, and I've always been grateful for the sweet, but I thought this was just going to be sweet. But no, it's more bittersweet, you know, and it's still not about me. When is it going to be about me, you know? And so once again, I find myself learning. I'm learning a ton, and I'm growing a ton through difficulty, through hardship, and through trial. I guess I am that stubborn, that's the way that my lessons have to come to me. But I accept the package. It's a beautiful thing all in all, and I'm grateful for it all in all. And the tears that I'm still crying, I don't resent it at all, and I accept it.